Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, the latest on the story that we've all been covering, the indictment of former President Trump. He's preparing to turn himself in to face federal charges, and we're live in South Florida. Plus, Michael's exclusive interview with former NFL player Peyton Hillis, sharing his harrowing story for the first time after he saved his young son and niece from a dangerous rip current that nearly cost him his life. How he's doing now and his message for all parents. That and so much more right here on GMA.
Now streaming on KSAT.com. It takes money to get elected, but have you ever thought about what happens to that money once a campaign is over? In a new episode of KSAT Explains, we break down campaign contribution rules. You can watch it on our website and, of course, on the KSAT YouTube page. Happening this evening at Travis Park, Movies by Moonlight. You and the family can catch one of my ultimate favorites. I hope this is the original, Space Jam, and it's free. Activities begin at 7:45 p.m. The movie begins after sunset. Parking is free after 5 p.m. at city-operated garages, lots, and meters. If you have any questions, you can find all of this information on Travis Park's Facebook event page. All right, a lot more to come here on GMSA ahead in our next half hour. Millions of Americans will have to start paying back their student loans. We're going to tell you when, so you can get ready. Plus, 3 more people in jail for street takeovers. Law enforcement here in Bexar County, they are hoping to stop this summer trend. And up next, despite the heat, a lot to do if you want to head outside. We've got some great ideas for you and the kids through the summertime. Plus, a lot of praise for the Riverwalk in a national exhibition. We're going to explain in just a bit. And of course, what you need to know before you head out the door. We're going to check in with Mike and Steven in just a few moments. This morning on GMSA, the scorching summer heat is here, and that means people are cranking up the AC, while ERCOT is worried about record energy demand across Texas. Plus,
thousands are expected to rally outside the Miami federal court today, where former President Donald Trump is set to face arraignment. I'm ABC's Justin Finch on how Miami is preparing.
And here at home, you could say we're preparing for the heat, preparing for those hotter temperatures this afternoon, but for now, we're at 78 degrees.
Live from KSAT 12. Good morning, San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning. It is 6 a.m. It is Tuesday. It is June 13th. Thank you so much for starting your morning with us. So we joked about it yesterday that you're going to go for a run after the show in the midst of this heat. You went for the run?
I did. So, keep in mind, we get off a lot earlier than, most people. And when I went for a run, there was cloud cover. So I had a little bit of a break.
I'm just saying, I'm jealous, I'm encouraged, I'm inspired by how committed you were to this run.
Oh, no. Well, I see, Mike, I was going to say, Mike is always saying to, put sunscreen and.
I thought you were going to say Mike ran with you. No, he did not.
Look for the shade, and, I followed the rules.
Well, I was doing yard work over the weekend and trying to get out there as early as possible.
Yes.
Cut the grass early on Sunday and a little more work. And then even by 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, it was just, the heat becomes kind of overwhelming, and that's even doing this in the shade. So you got to really take it easy, and shade is one of the key ingredients, as well as plenty of water. We got a lot of clouds out there right now. They are going to be sticking around throughout a good chunk of the morning. So yeah, that helps delay the inevitable heat up, but that helps to keep temperatures up as well, plus the humidity, and that's why it doesn't cool down as much at night. So we are in the upper 70s right now, but it feels like it's in the upper 70s and a lot of low to mid 80s around here when you factor in that humidity, which is still very, very high this morning. Mold and pigweed are both on the low side. Of course, heat advisory. Just color everything in on this thing. It's going to be just brutally hot all around the area. Heat index readings well up 105, higher than that. And 105 is where your body just doesn't really cool itself that efficiently. So that's why you got to really take it easy. 92 at noon, 99 high temperature today. A good 7 degrees above normal. And then factor in the humidity. So it's going to feel like, again, well up into the hundreds. What's in store for the rest of the week? Here's a little hint. It's going to be getting hotter. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority. Stephen, any big problems out there?
Mike, we had some issues earlier. They've cleared out. So we enter our 6 a.m. hour without any problems out on the roadway. But let's get a look around town, show drivers what they can expect. 410 there at McCullough. If you're traveling in the east and westbound lanes, you may see a few more folks out there. But 410 west at Cherry Ridge, things should be fine for a lot of the folks that are making their commute this morning. I've kept my eye on a few issues that popped up earlier in the morning. Those have since cleared out, so that's great. But take a look here on our map. What we see a lot of is a lot of that construction that continues to take place out on the roadways. And look, I know it's a pain to navigate, but we're going to help you get through it. Thankfully, none of it seems to be impacting drivers, at least at this hour. We'll have more on that a little bit later on, but let's talk about travel times. If you plan on hitting the roads and heading into the Alamo City, the journey from Bernie along I-10 eastbound should be about 25 minutes at this hour. It's not too bad if you're traveling in from Bulverde, so no need to hurry. 26 minutes to the downtown area, and not too awful from New Braunfels along 35 southbound. 27 minutes is what folks can expect. But back here in town, yes, we started our morning off a little bumpy, but things have smoothed out. You can see 10 at Medical, east and westbound lanes aren't too bad. We'll keep a close eye on things and again have an update on some of those road closures coming up a little bit later on in the newscast. Steph.
Thank you, Stephen. New this morning, San Antonio police say a man was killed overnight while riding his motorcycle. It happened just after 10 last night on Roosevelt, not far from Loop 410 on the city's south side. Police say that man was riding a motorcycle when he lost control and crashed. He was taken to the hospital where he later died.
New on KSAT.com. Police records show a San Antonio police officer suspended for 30 days for behavior that he displayed during a burglary while off duty. It happened last September when on-duty SAPD officers were called to a possible burglary. Austin Lee Benson was off duty at the time. He showed up after getting a call from people who live there. He was described by colleagues as being confrontational and unprofessional. Benson issued a 30-day suspension from March to April of this year. Still unclear why we are just learning about this. Well, Uvalde CISD police going through active shooter training next week, just a year after that mass shooting at Robb Elementary.
Our Sarah Costa joins us live in the studio with what we know about that training so far. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Steph. Good morning, Max. Remember, this training comes after law enforcement waited 77 minutes to enter the classrooms after the shooting began at Robb Elementary last May, where 21 people died from that shooting. So here's what the district has released about the training that's going to happen next week. The school district says its police officers' exercises will include entry and confrontation training. Remember, both were key issues in the response at Robb. However, this is a different group of officers that will go through this training. UCISD has revamped its police force since the shooting that happened in May of 2022. So next week's training will be held at the district's dual language academy. People living near the school should expect to hear simulated gunfire and see vehicles driving quickly. Uvalde CISD named Joshua Gutierrez as its official police chief in March of this year after working as the interim chief since last year. The previous police chief was Pete Arredondo, who came under major scrutiny for the law enforcement handling of the mass shooting at Robb Elementary on May 24th of 2022. Arredondo was fired in August. That training will take place next week, June 20th through 22nd, so that's Tuesday through Thursday. The district wanted to let the parents and community know that that simulated gunfire will be blanks and will most likely be heard in the neighborhood, and that the campus will be closed during that time. Max, Steph.
Thank you, Sarah. Top of your morning headlines, the city of Miami expecting huge crowds at the federal courthouse today for the arraignment of former President Donald Trump.
Now, Trump says he'll plead not guilty to 37 criminal counts.
As ABC's Justin Finch explains, this is connected to the alleged mishandling of classified records and Trump's refusal to return them.
And that is not the correct video. We apologize, and we'll get back to that. But right now we are learning more about the tanker truck crash that led to the collapse of an overpass in Philadelphia on Sunday. Now, the truck was carrying up to 8,500 gallons of gas, and human remains were found in that wreckage. Family members confirmed that the driver who was killed was 53-year-old Nathaniel Moody. Construction crews are also saying both sides of the overpass will need to be replaced. Demolition of the overpass is expected in 5 days, but rebuilding, that could take months.
All right, headed to Denver. Police there saying 9 people were shot overnight as the city celebrated the Nuggets' first NBA championship. Associated Press reporting that the suspect in the shooting is in custody. Now, this all unfolded around 12:30 this morning, about 3.5 hours after the game. 3 of the 9 people who were shot, they are in critical condition. Police still investigating, still interviewing witnesses, trying to figure out what exactly happened and why. Back here at home, the scorching summer heat has people across the state running their air conditioning, and that's got officials at ERCOT concerned about the record energy demand. A lot of outages aren't expected just yet, but they could still happen because of a high demand and weak wind and solar power. Now, ERCOT says it will provide, quote, clear and reliable alerts before potential conditions for high demand. Of course, you can sign up for all the notifications online, and we have a link to do so right now on ksat.com. Time is 6:08, 78 degrees.
And coming up later this morning on GMA, the new warning about business imposter scams, how criminals can impersonate legitimate businesses and what you can do to protect yourself. So keep it right here for that story on GMA beginning at 7.
And maybe hot out there, but there's still a lot to do if you and the family want to get outdoors. After the break, some stories that may get you excited to head out there, including some really high praise for the Riverwalk.
There's some nice shady spots along the Riverwalk. And looking out there with live cam, 78 degrees, so not too hot right now. So if you want to run some errands right now, might be the best time if you can get out there. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. It's 6:12, and there are several news stories trending right now on KSAT.com, stories that may make you want to get outside this morning.
Even with all the heat. So Sarah Costa, back in studio, just 17 inches away from me. All right, good morning, Sarah. Thanks for joining us.
Mac doesn't like it when I get too close.
No.
Okay.
Or too loud. That's fine.
Okay, well, maybe we can go outside, Max.
Go outside.
Except it's really hot and there's a lot of mosquitoes, but that's not here nor there. Okay, so let's start with the world famous San Antonio Riverwalk. It's getting some worldwide recognition. So the travel website known as I'm not going to say it. It's a famous Kuoni. I don't know if that's what it's called, but
go with it.
That website recently ranked its top 20 most beautiful spots around the world. The Riverwalk came in at number 16. So the website used almost 500,000 TripAdvisor reviews to see where travelers use the word beautiful to describe their time there. 4 other sites around the U.S. also made the list. And of course, they say Central Park in NYC took the top spot.
So, this is just you. I thought we were going to discuss this.
We'll discuss in just a second.
Okay.
We'll get back to it.
We'll get ready to discuss. Okay, so if you want to get out and dig for fossils, you may want to check out Texas Mineral Wells Fossil Park. So the Texas Park lets visitors dig up 300-million-year-old fossils. What if you find like a giant T-Rex? I have so many questions. So it's one of the few parks where visitors can keep what they find. Again, what if you find like a huge dinosaur? The park is in Mineral Wells, which is about 4.5 hours from downtown San Antonio. It's open daily from dawn to dusk and draws visitors from all over the country. So the park's website says 20 years of erosion at the city of Mineral Wells landfill borrow pit revealed fossils at the site. Fossil hunters are encouraged to bring small zip-locked bags to hold their fossils. I'm bringing
Well, here's the thing. If you find the T-Rex, I don't think it's going to fit in a zip.
Right, so I'm bringing a bigger baggage. And knee pads are encouraged if they plan on crawling around.
Really getting in there.
Okay. So check this out. A herd of goats will be in Brackenridge Park tomorrow as they mow down nearly 7 acres of overgrowth.
Aww.
San Antonio city officials say 160 goats will do some natural yard work. Brackenridge Park Conservancy is working with a group that provides a workable alternative to traditional land clearing, chemicals, or commercial mowing. So a large portion of the herd comes from animal rescues and private adoptions and includes 8 different breeds of goats. And you can read more about all these stories, of course, on ksat.com. I have a question for you guys. You know the noise that goats make? Thank you.
That one.
Thank you, Mike.
That was really impressive.
Did you
Mike.
know it has a
great.
word? So, you know how horses neigh and they call it neighing? I did not know this, but when a goat makes the
Great job, Mike.
Thank you,
it's
Mike.
called bleating.
I didn't know that till
With a
today.
T.
Apparently, everyone know. Did you know this?
I did not know that.
So us city folk.
Yes.
And I think sheep bleep too.
Yes, and we had this whole discussion in the newsroom. I kept asking our producer Joy, "Hey Joy, what is bleat?" And instead of explaining what it was, she kept going,
She just did it.
Meh. It was an And I was like, yes, I know.
That was
that's
also very impressive.
I was like, I know that's the noise they make, but what is bleeding? And she kept saying, ah, and I was so confused.
Never a dull moment.
This went on for like
GMSA.
3 minutes this morning in the newsroom.
Now we know.
Now we know.
Okay.
But I was concerned because I heard bleeding. I was like, what do you mean
was
Joy
like,
is
no
bleeding?
one's bleeding.
And why are you laughing? But now it all makes sense.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Never a dull moment. Steven, do you want to give it a try at bleeding?
No.
Yeah.
I did walk in on that, and as I was all you can hear is just Joy. There's my go. But guys, there's nothing exciting about what we're seeing out over here. Check out 410 at Crossroads. Yeah. Big backups. This is a crash that was reported just a few minutes ago. In fact, this is in the eastbound lanes of 410. So a lot of folks are making their way through there. You could see that right now it is a river of lights, and that is not a good thing. We have flashing lights out there as well as more paramedics, or first responders, I should say, arrived to the scene. We have 3 lanes that are blocked off, and this is at Crossroads Boulevard. Be on the lookout. We're getting ready to send a push alert, so make sure you have your KSAT mobile app downloaded. Then make sure you have those notifications turned on, because we let you know about these issues before you hit the roadway. 410 eastbound, you see that huge backup that's taking place out there. Not a good sign. So we've entered a busy hour. We're going to start to see more of those backups, especially along 410. Giving you a wide look at the map. Still pretty quiet elsewhere, but as we take a look here on TransGuide, this is going to be the big problem spot, at least for now. No word yet on any injuries. I've not seen paramedics on the scene. They could be out a little bit further off in the distance, but you see that there are 3 lanes again that are blocked off. Traffic is back to back at this hour. We'll hope for a better update, but I can guarantee you those drivers there may have to pack some patience.
Oh,
You said
my
that's
eastbound?
eastbound?
Yes,
yeah.
like going into town.
That's
so
that's going into town, and you could see it's not good.
that is going to cause a lot of delays.
Thank you, Steven. All right, Mike. You know what else is not good? The heat.
Oh, your picture coming up. I
What?
can't wait.
Oh,
not
yes.
not a picture. Not a picture
You know what
of
else
you.
is not good? Mike's picture.
I think this picture on the website's much older. So
No,
anyway.
the picture that he has to share with us. You'll see right now.
What did goats say? Anyway.
Oh, I thought you were
Wait,
going to
where'd it
have it. Aw.
Oh, there,
there
I
it
got
is.
you.
There
Past
it is.
Yes.
Look at
Talk
that.
about not being able to stand the heat. Take a look at this poor little guy. He is just exhausted out there, lying on
He's
that
like, it's so
fence.
hot.
Oh my gosh, just trying to keep cool as much as possible.
Hard day in a squirrel's life.
That's what I look like after GMSA.
We got a lot of clouds hanging around this morning, which is good news as far as, well, it has helped to keep the heat in overnight, unfortunately, but then this sort of delays the inevitable, the beginning of the heat up. We're still at 79 degrees, 73 up there at Bernie Stage, mid-70s Hill Country, and still 80 at Castroville. Of course, factor in the humidity and add anywhere from 3-5 degrees to those numbers. We keep a lot of clouds around this morning. They will clear out, obviously, so that's when temperatures like yesterday, I mean, it's a good example. It's going to be a lot like yesterday. We kept the clouds through late morning, and then all of a sudden sun came out, and boy, temperatures just shot right up. We'll be up to 92 at noon, and then of course we start to feel that heat index getting up in there at the 106 range later on this afternoon. Temperature is going to be 99, but we're not losing that much humidity in the afternoon, which is why we have those very high heat index readings there. And of course, the thermometer readings are going to be a good 6-7 degrees above normal. 92 is the average high temperature, so we are well above that. Here's some of the clouds we have hanging around here this morning. Again, they will be clearing on out. And upstream, I mean, there's just not really anything that's bringing about any change. It looks like there's a little bit of a kind of a counterclockwise rotation out there. There is a low centered over the Rocky Mountains, and then a big one there right around the eastern Great Lakes. And the problem is that low is not really going to be moving anywhere because that high is just really dominating things. This always strengthens and builds in and sits right on top of us this time of year. And again, that's the controlling feature. And as that thing just kind of eases up in here a little bit more, that's why temperatures are going to be going up over the next couple of days. We hit 100 tomorrow, 102 on Thursday, 103, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, just ridiculously hot all the way in through the weekend and even going into the first part of next week. Again, those temperatures are going to be a good 10 degrees above normal readings as we get into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and the rest of the long weekend. Okay. Hot out there, yeah.
Yes, and your public service announcement there on Sunday.
Father's Day, don't forget.
Don't forget.
All right. I was waiting for Steph's optimism. She always has the silver lining. Well, it's going to go down to double digits soon. But looking at that, you can't have much optimism.
Yeah, I was just like, let's remember Father's Day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Forget about the heat. Remember Dad.
Yeah.
There you go. Thanks, Mike. 621, 79 degrees.
And just ahead, the summer heat has AC companies scrambling to handle a spike in calls. How you can avoid problems with your home next.
Moderate to severe eczema. It doesn't care if it's girls' night, fright night, or the big night. Make your move and get out in front of eczema with steroid-free Sabinco. Not an injection. Sabinco is a once-daily pill for those who didn't respond to past treatments. And it's proven to help provide clearer skin and relieve itch fast. Once-daily Sabinco proactively treats eczema, whether you're flaring or not.
Sabinco can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB. Before and during treatment, your doctor should check for infections and do blood tests. Tell your doctor if you've had hepatitis B or C, have flu-like symptoms, or are prone to infections. Do not take with medicines that prevent blood clots, serious, sometimes fatal infections, lymphoma, lung, skin, and other cancers. Serious heart-related events and blood clots can happen. People 50 and older with heart disease risk factors have an increased risk of serious heart-related events or death with JAK inhibitors.
It's time to get out in front of eczema. Ask your doctor about Once Daily Sabinco.
In this morning's GMA First Look, an ABC News exclusive.
And how does something as traumatic change you?
On the football field, former NFL running back Peyton Hillis was known for his strength and speed. But 5 months ago, on a family trip to Pensacola Beach, that stamina would be put to the ultimate test as a rip current pulled his son and niece away from shore. He jumped in for a rescue that would nearly claim his own life.
I think the scariest point was when I'm swimming to my son and I have to pass by him because my niece is in more danger.
You had to make a decision.
But I knew that I had to pass him up to get to Camille first. And so what happened, I swam past my son. She starts freaking out, you know, we're gonna die. We're gonna die.
And coming up at 7 a.m., Peyton Hillis tells his harrowing story to Michael Strahan. With your GMA First Look, I'm Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
All right, well, back here at home, Mike's been talking about it all morning. It is hot, and it is only going to get hotter.
And that means AC companies are very busy. So Stay Cool AC and Heating says their calls started actually on Thursday after a slow spring. They say customers who didn't keep up with inspections are having those problems. And we are told the best way to avoid issues is to change your filters.
All right, time now, 6:25, 78 degrees.
And still ahead at 6:30, teachers and staff in Northeast ISD getting a huge pay raise. A look at who's eligible and when employees could see an extra pay bump this fall.
Plus, 3 more people in jail for street takeovers. How law enforcement in Bexar County hoping to stop this summer trend.
And big problems there at Loop 410 at Crossroads. This is going into the downtown area. You can see the lanes blocked off right there, but we're going to check in with the very latest with Stephen Cavazos coming up very soon. And right now on GMSA, San Antonio police are investigating an overnight shooting on the city's southeast side. What we've learned about a man who was hit by gunfire coming up.
Plus, federal student loan payments restarting soon. Sarah Costa joining us with when that could happen and how you can get ready. That's in just a few moments.
And looking out there with live cam, hey, it's not too bad, only 78 degrees. We're not in the triple digits just yet, but we are expecting the heat all week long.
All right, good morning. It is 6:30 this Tuesday. It is June 13th. Thank you so much for starting your morning with us. You know, we didn't plan this out really well because I feel like our color matches all of Mike's forecast.
Oh, yes, in honor of the heat.
You're right about that. Yes, a lot of red in the thermometers. Yes. And no, it is not triple digits right now, but it is definitely going to feel like it too soon. Lots of clouds out there, which, yes, sort of good news, bad news. Cloud cover does stave off the start of the heat up later on this morning, but then again, it helps to hold the heat in, so that's why we've stayed very warm in the overnight hours, still 79 degrees. Dew points at 72, still plenty of humidity out there. That's also, that kind of traps all that humidity in. That's what's holding the heat up, and then that doesn't really drop down that much throughout the afternoon, which is why then we have those heat index readings that are just sky high. high. Speaking of heat index, 84 is what it feels like right now in Castroville, 83 Stinson and Converse, as well as New Braunfels. Yep, and it's only going to go up from there. Mold and pigweed are both on the low side. Heat advisory, and again, you might as well just color in the hill country as well. It's going to be just ridiculously hot everywhere, so take it easy. Lots of water, lots of shade as much as possible. So mostly cloudy, warm this morning, warm and humid, and then mostly sunny skies today. And we are going to be in the upper 90s, heat index well up into the hundreds. And then it's going to be getting hotter the rest of the week. We're going to be peaking at 103 by Friday, Saturday. Still hot this weekend and going into the first part of next week, although maybe easing a degree or two. That's kind of wishful thinking as well. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen, huge problem still over there on the northwest side?
Unfortunately, Mike, that's exactly what we're looking at here at 410 at Crossroads. Let's get a wider look at TransGuide, find out exactly how things are shaping up out there, because it doesn't appear we've seen a lot of improvement. In fact, 3 lanes still remain blocked at this hour, and we have bumper-to-bumper traffic out there. Folks, we do have first responders out there on the scene. They are investigating, working to clear this whole mess up. But unfortunately, we are going to see this mess on the roadways for quite a while in terms of traffic and those delays. There is still no word yet if there are any injuries associated with this incident or how many vehicles were involved. We just hope everyone's doing okay out there. I've not spotted paramedics just yet, but they could be out there a little bit further back in the scene. So let's hope, again, everyone is doing okay, but traffic is just not looking good. Lots of orange and red that is building in the eastbound lanes at Crossroads Boulevard, where we have that crash reported. This is a busy spot, guys. A lot of folks travel through that area each and every morning, and that is really one of the first spots we start to see a buildup. So I can guarantee you, as long as those lanes remain blocked, we're going to continue to see those backups. Giving you a wide look at the map, there's not a lot else going on, which is great. That's going to give us some relief out on the roadways. There's still some construction taking place, but it doesn't appear any of it's impacting the commute for drivers, at least at this hour. But the big problem still remains here at 410 eastbound at Crossroads Boulevard. And as a reminder, make sure you have that KSAT mobile app downloaded with those notifications turned on. We sent out a push alert about this a few minutes ago, so you may have received it on your mobile phone. So again, just make sure to know before you go, guys.
Thank you, Stephen. One person and quite a bit of property are showing the effects of a shooting overnight. San Antonio police say they were hit by gunfire when someone took aim inside an apartment complex. Katrina Weber is live near downtown with that story. Katrina, did police know who the target of that shooting was?
Well, that's one of the things they're still trying to figure out. Police say that a man in his 60s was hit by a bullet that tore into his apartment. They say this may have been a drive-by shooting. Officers got the call after 12:30 this morning, then started taking note of all the damage that was done. Police say bullets hit cars and apartments at the complex near Dollar Hyde and Bowmore Streets. The man who was shot in his ankle was taken to a hospital by ambulance, and he's expected to be okay. At this point, investigators do not know who the shooter was. They say that no one at that apartment complex was able to give them a description. Reporting live near downtown, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. Just into the newsroom, a look at the woman arrested in a murder case. It's the story we first told you about yesterday on GMSA. So take a look. This is 68-year-old Doris Campos. She is charged with the murder of her sister. The arrest affidavit reads, at the time her sister was found, another woman also found dead in the same South Side home. The arrest affidavit reads that Campos admitted to shooting and killing her own sister. It is believed that the two women were dead a couple of days before their bodies were even found.
And looking ahead, teachers and staff in Northeast ISD are getting a pay raise. The district's Board of Trustees has approved a nearly $35 million package, and that will apply to all of NEISD's nearly 8,000 employees. The district says the pay raise will bring returning employee salary in line with market data based on their experience. Now, all eligible employees will also receive a 2% retention incentive in November. NEISD says this is the largest salary increase for its staff in nearly 20 years.
Well, student loan payments will resume in October. The U.S. Department of Education officials, they announced this just yesterday. Sarah Costa joins us live with what this means for anyone who has student loans. Sarah?
Good morning, Max. Remember, the Supreme Court still hasn't ruled on student loan forgiveness. Federal student loan borrowers will have to resume payments in October as millions wait to see if the Supreme Court is going to approve President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program. So the monthly payments will resume in October and interest rates on loans will resume on September 1st. It's been widely reported that payments for student loans will resume 60 days after June 30 or 60 days after the Supreme Court rules on Biden's forgiveness plan. So if the Supreme Court strikes down Biden's student loan forgiveness plan before June 30th, borrowers are expected to have to start paying their remaining balances 60 days after the court's decision. So if Biden's student loan forgiveness plans hold up, borrowers can expect to see $10,000 in federal student loans forgiven for people who make less than $125,000 a year and up to $20,000 for people who have received Pell Grants. There's no exact date when the Supreme Court is expected to rule on that decision, but the consensus is that borrowers will have an answer regarding debt relief sometime this summer. Steph?
Thank you, Sarah. And before we go to break, a newly signed law will help crack down on street takeovers in Texas. House Bill 1442 will help with prosecution and with the seizure of vehicles after reckless driving incidents. Now, street takeovers, which have plagued San Antonio and other cities like Austin, fall into this category. So here in San Antonio, 3 people were arrested last weekend after a takeover. 2 guns were also seized, along with 2 traffic tickets. San Antonio Police Sergeant Washington Moscoso says the bill will help law enforcement in court.
Sees it, on Saturday, they just can't show up on Monday and go pick up their car from the pound. They got to wait for the seizure hearing.
That statewide bill goes into effect on September 1st.
Time now, 6:37, 78 degrees.
And no matter how prepared you think you are, being an adult can be tough. After the break, one woman says she has a secret to becoming a self-sufficient, independent adult. What she says every parent needs to know.
There's a new Chick-fil-A here in downtown San Antonio, and they've come up with an innovative way in their drive-thru to get your order straight to your car.
Chick-fil-A and Western Urban work very closely along with the city to make this come true and happen for us, where we could come down here at Main and Houston with this unique concept to serve the city of San Antonio with a very unique drive-through out the back of the restaurant. There's an entrance off Soledad, 2 lanes enter, and then our drive-through will actually come around towards Main Street and hairpin back and exit on Soledad also. The conveyor belts are really exciting. We have 2 of them actually back there. There are 26 clips on them. It takes 30 seconds for the food to clip in up here and go all the way back to the drive-through cockpit where it lands, and then we serve it out the back door to our drive-throughs. The other thing that people don't really know about us is that you can park in the Rand parking garage for 1 hour, and we validate that parking for 1 hour.
Hi, welcome back at 6:42. So some people may be familiar with the word adulting, and there are some people who say being an adult can be tough.
I hate the word. I think it's stupid. All right, in a recent survey, 63% of Gen Zers and millennials, this is a terrible representation for my generation, say we don't feel prepared for the responsibility of being an adult, which is startling to say the least. They also say they were burnt out by the time they've reached adulthood, which is frustrating because you're only, 18 at adulthood?
It depends.
It depends. Mm-hmm. I just feel like the age keeps getting pushed back. Now it's like 21, 25. It's like, I can't rent a car till 25, so I guess I'm an adult now.
No.
35. No,
35. I still don't feel like I'm a true adult. I just feel like I'm human and I'm living my life, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so the feedback, like what you just mentioned in that is from a new study, became motivation for a former Stanford University dean to write a how-to book on how to grow up and act your age. What a concept. Here's some of the things she learned. No matter how old you are, being an adult can be tricky these days. Author and former Stanford dean Julie Lythcott-Hames understands why.
In prior generations, being an adult was a little simpler. You were expected to leave home, get a job, marry, have kids. Nowadays, there were some challenges that were just not present.
She realized that while times have changed, many are still defining adulthood by these outdated markers.
There are a lot of messages that imply if you haven't done those things, you're a failure. You're not a failure. Society has changed.
She is spreading that message in her book, Your Turn, How to Be an Adult.
It's not about achieving this and that. It's really about, are you showing up in your daily life, no matter where you live or with whom?
And to realize that things may not always work out perfectly, that notion rings true with Jamie Nunez.
My dad said to me, you need to understand work ethic by going to help your grandfather in his peanut farm.
It's on me to be responsible and accountable for my own stuff. My deadlines, my belongings, my business, my bills, my body.
You tell yourself, like, I can pave my own way to adulthood.
It's not about salary, title, where you live, or with whom. It's ultimately knowing this is my one wild and precious life, and I'm going to figure out how to live it. And I am rooting for you.
So she goes on to say that being an adult is not a checklist, but rather a process. So no matter how old you are, it's something that you'll get better at and more comfortable with over time, as Mike Osterhage has his arms crossed.
He's very upset. So I think Mike and myself, I think we missed the point of the story. The story was supposed to be, there's no pressure. You live your life as you want to.
Right.
I'm just frustrated with millennials and Gen Zers who are like, I hate adulting. And it's like, okay.
No, it's just part of life.
Right.
And it's what you make it. I like that she said, instead of thinking it as adulting and being responsible, no, I'm in charge of my life.
Yes.
So let me make my own decisions and be responsible for myself.
Yeah, there's no checklist.
There's no checklist.
And as a parent of a young child who's not there yet, but the story actually terrifies me. I don't want to like misprepare, my child for this and have her not, feel like she's prepared to be an adult. So
I mean, it's kind of like the birds that just have to like let their baby birds just go.
Yes.
Okay. Speaking of going, let's go to Steven.
One thing to take away, just savor those your adolescence, right? I mean, you have it easy, and then it gets a little bit more complicated. But hey, we're going to get you through this complicated mess. 410 at Crossroads, we have a pretty serious crash that was reported earlier in the morning, and you can see that right now 3 lanes have still remain blocked, and unfortunately, things aren't getting any better for drivers out there. I've been keeping a very close eye on this for the last 45 minutes or so. So big backups for anyone that is traveling along those eastbound lanes as you approach Crossroads Boulevard. Remember that a lot of folks tend to travel through that area, so that's why we have a lot of red and orange that is building up out there. The morning commute is just getting rolling, and we are going to have to keep a very close eye on things and take a look at our map now, because a lot of folks are making the commute at this hour. Thankfully, not spotting a lot of other issues out on the roadway, but you can see that we do have a bit of slowdowns reported at 35 at that interchange, not too far from 410. But the big problem spot, as I've mentioned, has been right here at 410 at Crossroads. Things have not improved in the last 45 minutes. But guys, this is what happens. Unfortunately, as more folks get out on the roadway, we tend to see bigger backups that are being reported. But yeah, you can see that it's not improved much.
No, not at all. In fact, it looks a little more jam-packed than earlier. So hopefully they can work on that and get it cleared so people can get to work or where they need to be.
Let's hope so.
All right,
Thank you.
If you're out in the heat too long, this is what it feels like.
Oh, is this picture here?
This is it. Phenomenal.
It's like, oh my goodness, it's so hot.
You're just like, yeah.
Good picture.
Of a snapping turtle? Yeah, I mean, it's not. There's a face only a mother could love. Anyway, yeah, I mean, this is it is a great picture. Thank you very much for that. But yeah, that's what I mean, you're just out there in all that heat later on during the day. A lot of clouds starting off, so that is going to put off the warming process later on this morning if these clouds do stick around a little bit like they did yesterday. But still, even when they cleared out, we really shot up there with temperatures. We've been holding fairly steady thanks to the cloud cover, thanks to the humidity out there this morning, and we will make it up through the 80s later on this morning, already up to 92 at noon. Then we start to feel those heat index readings get up into the hundreds as we get into late morning hours. We're going to top off at 99 on the thermometer, but it will feel like it's well up above 105. And that's where your body just really has a tough time kind of cooling itself. All the way through the rest of the week and the weekend, temperatures are going to be on average 10 degrees above normal. The average normal high temperature right now is 92. As a matter of fact, yesterday's 97, just to kind of put it in perspective. That's the average temperature in the hottest time of the year, which is the first couple of weeks of August. So this is August and then some. And low temperatures are also going to remain a good 4 or 5 degrees above their respective normal all the way through here. A lot of humidity. That's and really one of the biggest problems is we just can't get rid of the humidity, especially in the afternoons. So the high is what is the culprit right now. That thing, and as it's been forecast, is going to continue to sort of work its way up to the north, sort of build in here and just dominate things. And as it sits on top of us, not only does it prevent any sort of rain from forming up because it's pushing down in the atmosphere, but it also helps to compress the atmosphere a little bit more, and that's what helps to heat things up on top of that. The only hope is if this thing decides to sort of edge down a little bit, if we get minor little fluctuations in it, but there's no big changes at all in the forecast over not only the next week, but really even the next couple of weeks around here. We are going to be up to 100 tomorrow on Flag Day, and then 103 by Friday and Saturday, and hot through the long weekend. Again, these temperatures are well above normal, and that doesn't take into account not only the humidity, so add 5, 6, 7 degrees to that, and got to emphasize in the shade too.
Yes. Let's stay in the shade.
Yeah.
It'd be a little easier then.
Because again, you're feeling the air temperature in the shade. If you're in the sun, you're feeling the air temperature, and the sun is, as I put it, cooking you. So
yes, goodness. Okay, we'll be careful. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. 650, 78 degrees.
And tomorrow on GMSA, the foods in your shopping cart that are most likely to make you sick.
All right, let's take a live look out at the Alamo City. Okay, no direct sunshine just yet. And honestly, it's probably for the best. We're going to check in with Steven and Mike one more time before you head out the door.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, the latest on the story that we've all been covering, the indictment of former President Trump. He's preparing to turn himself in to face federal charges, and we're live in South Florida. Plus, Michael's exclusive interview with former NFL player Peyton Hillis, sharing his harrowing story for the first time after he saved his young son and niece from a dangerous rip current that nearly cost him his life. How he's doing now, and his message for all parents. That and so much more right here on GMA.
And right now on KSAT.com, it takes money to get elected. But have you ever thought about what happens to that money once the campaign is over? In a new episode of KSAT Explains, we break down campaign contribution rules. And you can watch it on our website and on the KSAT YouTube page.
All right, happening this evening at Travis Park, Movies by Moonlight. You and the family can catch personal favorite, Space Jam, the original with Michael Jordan, for free. Watch it for free. It begins at 7:45 p.m. The movie begins after sunset. Parking is free as well after 5 p.m. at all city-operated garages, lots, and meters. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, go to the Travis Park Facebook events page. All right, Stephen Cavazos, we got some good news.
Yeah, looks good out there at I-10.
Yeah, looks like things have cleared out. Also with that crash that we reported earlier, guys, 410 at Crossroads was a big problem spot for about 45 minutes, but you could see these shots of TransGuide, General McMullen, things are moving fine for the most part, but the big backup was right there in those eastbound lanes at Crossroads Boulevard. That is cleared out, but we still see a lot of residual traffic and congestion in that area. Again, as I mentioned earlier, that is a very busy spot. Also, a bit of a slowdown US 90 eastbound as folks are making their way into the Alamo City, and as well as 35 southbound for folks traveling along in from New Braunfels. But things moving along here. Tenant Medical.
Lots of clouds this morning. Lots of humidity. That has helped to hold temperatures on the warm side this morning. We are still standing at upper 70s, but it feels like it's 82 out there, 85 Castroville when you factor in all of that humidity. Clouds will stick around throughout a good chunk of the morning, and then it's going to really start to heat up, and that's why heat advisories go into effect later on today, all the way through the early evening hours. We're going to be up to 92 at noon, 99 high temperature. Again, that's just the thermometer reading. It will feel more like about 105 here in town, even hotter down to the south and southwest. And then triple digits all the way through the rest of the week and the long weekend. Brutally hot temperatures.
Oh my goodness. Well, didn't you say like maybe after all of that, 1 degree better in the future?
We'll see you at 9 o'clock.